Hey, how's it going? So, I got the pleasure of seeing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, or Doctor Strange 2, whatever you want to call it, whatever's easiest for you. And so, let's get into a review. First, what I will say is that this is going to be a non spoiler review. So, if you want to see some spoilers, I will have a spoiler review out sometime this weekend. I'm not sure exactly what day. So, if you've seen the movie already and you want to give my full more specific thoughts and how I feel about it, then go check to see if I have that out. If it's not out yet, then it's going to be out soon. But without further ado, let's get into the review. So, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness really centers around Doctor Strange trying to protect America Chavez, who's played by, I think it's Xochitl Gomez. I'm not sure how to say her name. I'm sorry. But he's basically trying to protect her from this villain who's trying to take a hold of her power, which is the ability to travel from different universes to different universes. However, she can't control her own power, and this villain has a specific reason for wanting it. And Doctor Strange knows, though, if they do get a hold of this power, then they could cause catastrophic damage to the entire universe and any universes they want, as they'll ultimately be able to rule everything. So, to start off, the very first scene in this, I thought the CGI was really bad. In the first few minutes, there's a couple of lines that stood out to me that were really corny. Wasn't a huge fan of. I'm like, all right, come on, you could have made that a little cooler, and maybe you're trying a little too hard here. But ultimately, I did enjoy the movie. I thought the movie was done really well. I think Marvel is starting to take things into a little more adult route. If I don't know how to really word it, but it's a little more graphic. If you've seen Moon Knight, and specifically if you've seen the fourth episode of Moon Knight, they're starting to get pretty graphic with some stuff, like borderline almost. I mean, I don't know the exact, or I said the criteria, I should say, more so, to hit rated R, but I mean, like, recently they've gotten as close to going over that hump or taking that step than ever before. So I'm really intrigued with it. This is directed by Sam Raimi, who, if you don't know, or if you only know him as the director of Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, like the originals with Tobey Maguire, he is also known to be a horror director. He's directed things like The Evil Dead, Drag Me to Hell, and he has a lot of work, but he has a lot of work in kind of the dark horror genre as well. So you really see those elements in this movie. So if you're looking for a Marvel movie that's super lighthearted, this takes a little bit of a darker turn, and this one, I would say, ultimately doesn't have as much of the comedy as you would normally see in a Marvel movie, which for me personally, I don't really mind. I don't need every Marvel movie to have some funny moment every scene. So with this one, it definitely, goes, again, it's a little more grown, I would say. Not that you can't bring your kids to it, but it's definitely, there's body horror, and it just is a little more shocking than any other, I would say probably than any other Marvel movie ever. So just be prepared for that if you're going into this one. So there's a lot of buzz around who's going to be in this movie, cameo wise. And I would say, as far as the actual, the scene that you see in the trailer of the Illuminati, I personally enjoyed that scene. There is a reason that I'll get more into spoilers as to what I'm saying, but I could see this as being part of the reason why some of the reviews I've been hearing are kind of mixed on this movie, is some based on this scene. Maybe for my personal taste, the scene with the Illuminati, I thought was good. I thought everything with it that came with it and the outcome was, I thought it was cool. I enjoyed it, and I didn't think it was too much, which I think, seeing this trailer, I thought maybe this movie was going to be too much with some things. They were going to maybe travel to different universes, and it was maybe going to get a little distracting. But personally, I don't think it was distracting at all. I'm glad they didn't really expand too much on the different universes. So if you're expecting like exploration of multiple universes, it's just, this movie isn't like that. I do enjoy that because I feel like it could have either made the movie a little bit longer, which I already felt like it was a few minutes too long to begin with some filler scenes within there, but also it could have gotten a little convoluted, a little confusing maybe you know, it's Kevin Feige and it's Marvel, so they always find a way to kind of make things work, it seems like, for the most part. But I'm kind of glad that this one felt like it was more grounded and it stayed grounded versus trying to expand a little too much. I thought the ending for this movie was lackluster. I think they're starting to get a certain formula where it's going one route in a lot of the movies that they make, and I'm not a fan of the route that they go with how they end these with. Like, it's been happening a lot recently. And so I wasn't a huge fan of the ending. Again, pretty much the third act I thought dragged at some parts, and some parts were cool. The zombie Strange I thought was really cool. As far as the acting goes, Benedict Cumberbatch kills it as Doctor Strange as always. Elizabeth Olsen does great. I think she does great in this movie. The newcomer, Hochatil, I don't know how to say it, Gomez, Miss Gomez. I thought she did well. She did a good job in this. And Rachel McAdams came back and she did a nice job in her role as well. I don't think there was anything outstanding as far as performance wise. I think they all did what they were supposed to do and they did it good, and they made the movie enjoyable, as well as there was a lot of things reminiscent of the first Doctor Strange as far as the trippy landscaping, you know, the kind of what you've seen in the first Doctor Strange, where it's just he can manipulate just anything around him, and he uses it sometimes for the benefit of himself or in order to maybe stall somebody, you know, create some time for them to try and escape or come up with another plan. And I always thought those are really cool in how they're designed, and they do a really, really good job in this movie again with that. I just want to kind of end it there and find my final thoughts. Really, I enjoyed this movie. I wouldn't say it's top 10 for me. I don't think it's going to be in my top 10 just because there were some misses on this one. And again, like following a certain formula and a little bit of kind of filler, it feels like it could have been shortened by about 10 minutes. I would say would have been solid. But at the end of the day, it was a very enjoyable watch. I definitely recommend you go see it. And for my final rating on this, I'm going to give it a 7.3 out of 10. So, you know, yeah, what did you think of it? If you've seen it, if you haven't seen it, you know, come back or go to my spoiler review, tell me what you think. Go see my in-depth thoughts, because that's going to be a lot easier for me to just kind of explain how I feel, why I feel about certain aspects, and why I didn't like some things, and some things that specifically I did really love about it, and what elevated it for me. So I hope with that, I hope you guys all have a great day. Remember to subscribe, hit the notification button so you know when I come out with that spoiler review or any other review. Like, leave a comment, and that's going to be it for me on this one. Go check out that spoiler review.